Okay, we're joking around about this uncomfortable topic, but it's an important one, which is why we're going to have it. So we've been talking about the benefits this week of maintenance sex, but there's also a downside to it.
Dr. V is here, back with us this morning to talk about that. So people who missed the segment on Tuesday, we got in people's business talking about the bedroom and maintenance sex. For people who missed it, what exactly is it?
So maintenance sex is the idea that you should be engaging in regular intercourse or sensual activities just for the sake of having a consistent connection. Which sounds good in theory, but I saw a lot of you on my Instagram who I think were kind of maybe going to use it against your partners, like, see, we need to be having more. But let me tell you about some of the reasons why just doing it to do it isn't always a good idea. Let's leave that to Nike. And I feel like for a lot of people, they don't realize that maybe they're not having regular intercourse and regular sensuality because of resentments and underlying emotional issues and disconnect that are not being addressed. And so then it doesn't really make sense to have those experiences consistently because you're not connected.
Yeah, it'll just make you even further apart, I would think, because it's just emotion. It's nothing that's emotion involved with this. So work through the problems first.
Yes, because if you are just having sex for the sake of having sex in your relationship, it could be masking some underlying issues. And both of you could be guilty of really just kind of focusing on the physical instead of focusing on maybe the tougher stuff. For some people could be the emotional disconnect. I also think that it's important to remember that sometimes sex is not comfortable. There are lots of different reasons why sex might not be as pleasurable, might actually be very painful. And if you're just doing it to do it, you might then create some negative associations with the act, and you certainly don't want to do that.
So it's all about communication.
All about communication and making sure that it makes sense for you to have that experience. And I like to say, keep that underlying current of sensuality going. I call it Pillow Talk. If you have any questions, make sure you're subscribing to my emails. All of them have lots of good, juicy information that would make just a few of you cringe a little bit. but truly, it's all about being helpful to couples, and you can get that at drviviana.com.
Okay.
And then finally, I just want to ask you about the imbalance of sexual desire. That can really differ, so how do couples deal with that?
For so many couples, and that's one of the top things that I work with, is called sexual desire discrepancy. The idea that one person typically wants to have more physical affection and more sex, just put it in plain terms, more sex more often, and they can really struggle with that. So if you're just having sex for having sex, you may start to question, wait, are we doing this because you want to? Or are you doing this because you feel like you have to? And that's really a kind of a slippery slope. And of course, it keeps my office at Houston Relationship Therapy very busy, but for so many couples, they don't get that help. So make sure that you understand why you're having sex and why it's an expression of your feelings for each other.
All right, Dr. V, so helpful. Thank you. Trying to keep couples as happy as you can. You only live once, and you need to be fulfilled,
100%. She nailed it.
All right, coming up next, why blood donations actually drop during the summer and how you can help patients.